We are live.
We are. What's going on? Turn the thing this way a little bit.
Let me just turn this down. Make sure that we're on. So, hello.
What is good?
We are. It's talking mess. Okay,
Cool.
we are. You can see the comments there. Hello.
What's going on here? Cool. Awesome.
Welcome. Happy Easter.
Indeed.
Happy Sunday, we should say, but it's Easter as well.
It is all those good things.
Yes, hoping everybody's had a fantastic day. Hope that you have got lots of Easter eggs.
Yeah, I hope that everyone has had a food coma from all the chocolate.
Yeah.
And all those good things that come along with eating too much chocolate.
Absolutely. For some reason it's not that clear, and I don't quite know why, because last week it was clear and this week it's not. So I'm not entirely sure why that is. I do apologise.
We do indeed.
We're just going to do what we do. Hello, Karen. How are you? Hello, Miss Bronwyn. Hope that you are well. Make sure that you share, tag, and like. If you think that somebody would get some benefit from said listening to the mess, hashtag talking mess. Bring them along, share, tag, do what you need to do. And make sure you have hydration, water,
indeed.
and if you need some chocolate to see you through, that's okay as well.
Oh.
So how's your day been? Been Easter Sunday?
Yeah, mine's been good. I had a brunch with two friends and mentors of mine.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Where was I? Let's backtrack. Yeah, really good. Started off with one of my guys who has been friends with me forever, and has shown his side of business to me, and just kind of give me some insight going forward and with everything that's happened. Are you good? Or are you distracting me?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. You keep going.
Well, yeah. So yeah, it was good, and then met up with another friend and mentor of mine, and he just gave me a different side of business and a different piece to the puzzle. And if I can use it, awesome. If I can't, then that's awesome too. So everyone presents what they think could be valuable, and like there's no ego involved. So it's really brilliant to have that friendship where there's no love loss if I don't take their advice, or if I don't take their advice on certain topics and information, then it's like, okay, well, our friendship's not tied up in that, which is really brilliant to have, and I think that it's definitely needed in business.
Fantastic. Looks like Facebook is a bit slow.
Yeah.
But it's still moving along.
Yeah.
So
that's all right. We'll keep going.
We'll just keep going.
The comments will pop up. So
yeah. So
we also need to keep in mind that it is Sunday and it's Easter, so I'm sure that there will be people who are having a few drinks and beverages like that. So.
And you can always come back and watch it later if you're spending time with the family.
This is also true.
Come back and watch it later on in the week. Something might come out of it for you, which is awesome. So my day consisted pretty much of listening to video recordings and podcasts about being present in the moment, what's going on for you right now. So I think that's for me, it's a really interesting thing because I'm in the trauma space.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, and me absolutely have been guilty of this, is that we make what it is that we know very intellectual. So we make it all about a thought process. So I know this information and I'm taking it in. But there is a difference between taking the information in and then dropping it down to a level of, so how does this feel for me?
Mhm.
What's alive for me right now? Where am I showing up? Where am I not? All that sort of stuff. So for me, it was great because I'm very much, and again, which is really interesting because I'm on the tail end of my thesis. So it's all been about the typing up of the thing and the research and stuff. And so it was really, can you not check the thing? It was really great to bring it back to dropping it down a level into the body. So how does that feel? What's alive for me in that? How does that serve me? How does that not? How does that make me feel? Does it bring joy? Does it not? Hi, Talitha. And so for me, it was just really great. Like I said, because normally it's been very much about the technical part of it.
Sure.
And so I think in some ways we forget about the technical part and then we just go, forget about the feeling part and go straight to the technical.
Yeah.
And so for me, today's thing was really great to bring it back to, so what does that feel like? Following the energy, following the feeling of it. Does it make my heart happy? Does that make my heart sad?
Yeah.
So little things like that, I think, are for me were brilliant because I disconnected from that because I was in the, and I suppose in some ways, you can talk about masculine and feminine. So I was very much in the masculine of the doing and the, the research and all that sort of stuff, whereas into the feminine and the feeling and all that sort of stuff. So that was really good. I found it an impactful day.
Okay. Excellent.
So, how has everybody else's day been? Did you get lots of chocolate? That's the question.
I'm sure they did. I have no doubt that they did.
Did you do an Easter egg hunt?
I have no doubt they did.
They might not have. Some people don't do Easter egg hunts.
Anyways.
So we want to know, did you do an Easter egg hunt?
I don't think
Did you
many
follow
people are
that?
going to tell us. So we'll just jump on with what did we say the subject was going to be for this episode? I remember it was going to be good, but I can't remember what it was.
I don't know. We've done perception.
Yeah.
Did we have a conversation about it?
We did. It was, I think it was on the lines of as we look to move forward, and we move into our light. It's some people kind of, I don't want to say get jealous, but I think like moving into your light when things are moving forward, it highlights other people's life. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if I hope that makes sense to everyone listening and following along. But yeah, like it's not just now, it's kind of in everything when we move forward and we love what we do and we want to excel to that next level, that next place, whether it's business, sports, relationships, I guess in any kind of field. For those who are there with us at that level, unless they're willing to move with you, I guess they kind of get left behind, and for no fault of their own. It's everyone has their journey and their story to play, but it's okay. He's moving forward. Why can't I move forward, or why him instead of me? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, and it's very valid.
Yeah,
it's very valid because it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And like you said, in all of the areas, if we was to take, take healing, for example.
Definitely.
If you're drinking and you've stopped drinking and all of your friends are still drinking and you go, you know what, I stopped drinking, you either have to get a new group of friends, get your friends to stop drinking, or you have to go back to drinking. So those are the kind of things. And so it's through no fault of anybody's, but the situation is very much about, so I don't want to drink. Are my friends going to stop drinking?
Yeah.
Are my friends going to understand and be supportive of that, or are they wanting me to be how I used to be, and so therefore expecting me to stop? And again, it doesn't mean that people are bad people.
Yeah.
They're just used to you being a certain way.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's when it really does come back to, how does that make me feel? You know, like, because you can absolutely get plastered with your friends again if that's what you want to do.
100%, yeah.
But if it makes you feel crappy when you're doing it, after you've done it, the next day, a week later, is it really worth it to go, oh, and I was listening to an audiobook on addiction because, you know, like I like to do a little bit of research. I'm nearly 5 years dry. Oh, that's awesome. I'm interested in how it was when you first stopped.
Yeah. So
Brother, like, it would be really, I'd love for you to share, if you're comfortable, of course, only if that. How was it when you first made that decision? Boom, that first day, day one. How was it for you? Because what happens a lot of times is we have those things where we stop, and a lot of times we're not to a point where we can say, no, that's it, I'm done, I'm not doing this. And rather than saying to our friends, oh no, I don't want to drink,
yeah,
we have a look at what is the best next step that I can take for me. And the example was, this guy had given up drinking, and so all of his mates were oh, how did
I don't
Hi?
know what you did.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so I see you can bring the thing up across the bottom.
Okay, we didn't know that.
Okay, there you go. That's really cool. And so the guy he'd stopped drinking, but his mates were still drinking and stuff. And so he decided to go along, and because they were going to watch a baseball game.
Yep.
And so the game got really, really boring, as baseball does. And so his team was losing, and all of his mates were like, you know what? We're going to go and get a drink. And so he had stopped drinking. So he was not yet to the point where he could say, you know that I love baseball. You know that I'm not drinking. I don't want to go and do that. So he simply said, you know what? I'm going to stay and finish watching the game. I'm going to stay. I'll catch you guys later. And so it was a easy out, win-win. You guys go along. You do the thing. I'm actually going to stay here. And it was like, okay, right. We would like him to be able to get to the point where he could go, you know what, you fellas, you know that I love baseball, and you know that I don't drink, so why can't you just be here now with me and be supportive? He wasn't there yet. So he just went, you know what, you fellas going on, I'm going to stay. And they're like, you sure? It's like, yeah, I'll catch the subway home or whatever. It's like, okay, fine. And so it was just a really interesting thing that it was the easiest next step for him, rather than having that confrontation, rather than having that, why can't you be supportive of me? All that sort of stuff. That was the next step for him to go, I'm just going to. And so there was no harshness. They were just like, okay, cool. And so I guess it's that whole thing for us is, what's the easiest next best step? So
Definitely.
Thank you for that comment, brother. My kids after the marriage split must have been like, I'm hats off to you, super proud. Like it's a challenging journey when you decide that, you know what, I'm gonna make a change and stuff. So big props to you for that. And so it is very much about that whole, when you decide to change, everything changes.
When everything changes, everything
changes. And I think we get to the point where we're like, you know what, I'm going to change, but I would like everything to stay the same.
Sure.
Like that's great. I want change, but I don't want actually anything to change from said change.
Yeah, no, that's definitely valid, and we can't. I don't think we can really fully step into that change until we realize that, hey, the people that are at this level here either don't want to or aren't willing to step into that space with you. And then you being there have been times where I couldn't step into the level that some of my friends were going, and for the life of me couldn't understand why. And like I had to soul search, and still love them and wish them well, and they went off to do great things. And then I've also been on the other end where I've needed to step into different roles to expand myself. And again, there were some people that couldn't come along with me because it wasn't for them, and they weren't willing to step so far outside of their comfort zone to change. Again, which is no fault of their own. They just weren't at that level, which is fine. It's change isn't for everyone, and change doesn't have to be directly when it is for me. Like your change is completely different to my change, and my changes are completely different to my friends and family and all those other different kinds of things. Doesn't make it any less easy or those kinds of things, but it brings awareness and light to the situation that some people just can't go with you, and some people aren't destined to go with you to that next step.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is always super challenging when it's family as well. You know, normally you've got your family, and then your friend circle are your next family.
Yeah.
And so when that shifts, it can be really hard. Around here, a lot of mob are hitting the bottom.
We have a comment.
A comment.
Again, just because people on YouTube can't see the comments.
Oh, okay, right. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure they can't see the comments.
Okay, so it says around here, a lot of mob are hitting the bottle hard. It's sad to see the younger generation drinking like they do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we know that when it comes to our families want the best for us, and normally they don't want us to be any different than they are.
Yeah.
You know, so they want the best for us, and they want us to stay how we are.
Yeah.
And it can be challenging because normally the best for us means that we have to continue to grow, and sometimes that means moving away, sometimes that means moving home, sometimes that means doing something different. So they wish us the best. They just want our best to be the way that we always were.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And it's our best is the best thing for most people is to always keep striving for more, whether that's more knowledge, just more, just being better each and every day, better than the next. So sometimes that, like you said, it is going to take you away. It's taken me to the other side of the world sometimes, and by myself. So some people could come with me. Some people could support my journey from a distance. Some people didn't want a bar of it, which was hurtful, and all those other feelings that come along with it. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I guess, you know, the comment there from Brother talks about, you know, the younger people who are the younger generation, brings up a really interesting topic. We're going to go there.
It's hard hitting today.
We're going there, that our younger generation, we hear it all the time. Go and sit with your elders. Go and talk to the elders. And what we know is that our elders are in the same amount of pain that our young people are. And so our elders haven't healed their stuff, not through any fault of their own. They haven't healed themselves. So how can they be there to be able to help somebody else heal if they haven't gone through that healing themselves? So for me personally, to go and sit with my elders, I have all of the people who are around me who I know are still caught up in their trauma and their pain. They're still trying to cope with their feelings of pain that they haven't yet worked through. So for them to be able to have the capacity to give to me is very limited because they're struggling day to day to cope with their own life. Yeah. So for me to then go and sit and expect them to give from their empty cup is just, I think, rude on my part, because we can't expect other people to give to us if they're having a challenge giving to themselves. It's sad.
Another comment.
Another comment.
Facebook can't read it.
Right. Okay. I forget because we're on StreamYard.
Yeah, so we get the comments here. So
So
on Facebook or on YouTube, I'm not sure about YouTube, but on Facebook Live, there's the no comment doesn't come up. So
okay, right.
So the Nectar Hill says that, but that's the thing. Some of these younger generations won't sit and talk to our elders, and that's sad. Yeah, it is. It is sad, and it's that continual cycle where no one's willing to step out and look at, I think, like, look at themselves first. Like, hey, what can I do that will have that ripple effect? Whether it's an elder, whether it's a child, you know, who a young kid who's mature enough to say, look, okay, I want something different, so that I can be that elder, or I can be that uncle that when the time comes and that space has presented itself, I can actually teach the younger generation and who are willing to step out and then follow that route. So I think everyone needs to have a look at themselves in that situation and say, what can I bring to the table, and what can I do to make that ripple effect a lot stronger?
Because are you an example? Would you want your kids to follow in your footsteps?
Yeah.
You know, like I look at the elders within my family. You know, the older, and there's none of them that I would follow, because they're still in the midst of their pain. They are still smack bang in the middle of it, and so they are struggling to cope with the hurt and the pain and all of the things that have happened. They're literally trying to survive their life. So I would not go to them to sit and talk about how I'm going, what I'm doing, because they're just not in that space to be able to give to me, because they're still trying to cope with the stuff that's gone on in their life. Yeah. And so again, that's just where they're at. They're not bad people. They're simply in that space at the moment where I couldn't sit with my uncles. Half of my family one half don't even talk to the other half. So the ones that do talk, I wouldn't talk to, because again, the anger and the hurt and the coping strategies that they used for their unhealed pain is not something that aligns with my values and the way in which I'm moving forward.
And I also think that it's not, a lot of people aren't moving forward where, you know, you may have that one person, whereas if I don't gel with that one person for whatever reason, I just don't vibe with them, then I can't go and sit with anyone else. So if you have 3, 4, 5, 6 people who are looking at moving themselves forward, and wanting to make a better example for the next generations, if I don't vibe with one, or the lessons that I'm getting just aren't clicking, I can go to a different uncle, I can go to a different elder. We don't have anyone, like, you know, now all of our family drinks, and I'm just, drinking's not my thing. Like I just, even when I was younger, like it was never my thing. So when everyone, and like, don't get me wrong, I've had my times where I've gone out and got on a piss and all that kind of stuff, but rarely do I do it now. So when those conversations are sitting around having, you know, those drinks by the fires and those kinds of things, I can't get so much into it, because drinking is just not my thing. So who else can I go to? Because there's just no one else who wants to go to the gym and do those kinds of things. That's the kind of person who I'd vibe with. Whereas no one's doing that. Okay, well, I can't go anywhere else, because, like I said, everyone's still here in this lane who are drinking and doing those kinds of things.
So the comment is that he knows very well mob not talking to each other. Absolutely. And again, that's a manifestation of people's pain and where they're at. And we're not to a point where we can go, we've had our differences, but let's come together and talk those out. The pain is too big. Like it's insurmountable to be able to come together and go, this relationship is what therefore I'm going to work through it. So that would be amazing. So the comment is, I talked to my 93-year-old Wiradjuri grandfather, your dad, about things, and I really enjoyed chat with him talk and taking him out for a cuppa, and that's just amazing. Like
Yeah.
that is so great to have that, and I could imagine, and I understand why you would cherish every single moment of those kind of conversations. I used to be like that with my nan. Would have conversations about, and Nan would just talk about the craziest things, and it was never deep. It was just always like beautiful conversations. And then when Nan passed away, and then everything literally fell apart within the family. So I guess it's having those conversations about, and that comment brings up a really great, a great segue into having a look at some of the conversations that you'll have with people are just surface level,
Yeah.
So when my nan was alive, we'd have conversations about, the cereals when they were on, like the thing you have for breakfast, like Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives. Like we'd have those conversations. Nan would be like, Carrie, what's going on? Tell me something. And it'd be like, what have I done that's exciting? And it'd be like, I'd half the time I'd have to make something up because nothing exciting would have happened. But it didn't matter. She would just be like, oh, Carrie, that's this. I love that. She'd like, tell me something. What gossip have you got? So I said, I don't know any gossip. She's like, make something up. So the comment is, love the quality time with him and do things with him like he did for me in my younger days, because if it wasn't for him and mum wouldn't be work, which is just fantastic. That is so wonderful. And that's so beautiful, and you'll have those memories forever about that, which is great. So I guess it's about having a look at and having an understanding about the quality of the connection and the memories that you have. Like, son is, and I looked after my nan and I lived with my nan for a while, so I have those memories now that nan's gone.
I'm doing the exact same thing. Like
son's doing the exact same thing.
I'm living with my grandmother and allowing her to be that grandmother, whether that's her doing the laundry and everyone's like, oh, but you grown-ass man, you can do it yourself. Yeah, which, like, granted, I can, but grandmothers, they just love to do those kinds of things, that feeling needed and those kinds of things. And, it's reciprocated. Like, sometimes I got to sit at the back, and same kind of thing as Brother Dean said, like, just chill out, have a cup of tea, and just have those conversations at the surface level and seeing it for what it is. I'm not trying to get the secrets of the earth here. I'm just trying to fill my cup up with my grandmother, because this time is not always going to be there. I remember conversations with Nanji, your nan, my great grandmother, and it was never about those conversations of, Nan, tell me the secrets of the earth. It's just, no, sometimes you don't want to talk, you just want to be in that presence. Have this, for some reason, when 90210 was on, everyone would be just like hunched up on, I think it was maybe a queen bed, and there'd be like 8 or 9 of us just squeezed in, and it was just that company. There was no drinking, there was no nothing, no secrets, no big stories. Everyone was just around having that same time together. That's which was fantastic, and understanding that it's just that surface level. It's just filling my cup up with that. Could also, that's it.
Absolutely.
And that's a memory that I will always have. That's vividly played in, and it was both families. It wasn't just one side as it is now, or the two sides separated. It was that whole family unit. We all came together, and if you couldn't find a spot on the floor in Nan's room, don't worry, because out in the big ass lounge room, if 90210 was playing then, and you'd chop and change between the two rooms, and during the ad break, you had to run to the toilet, get a drink, you have to debrief about what's going on, and then as soon as that last ad came on, everyone needed to shut the hell up and then get back to your spots.
That's it. And don't be thinking you're going to take somebody else's spot either, because they would just be like, they will throw you out. Yeah, that's it. Get out.
Yeah, like it's everyone knows same spots.
That's exactly right. And so it's very much about that whole, that was just a connection, watching those shows. It was never, it was never about anything deeper than simple connection. Like I said, you wouldn't be having, you'd be having conversations about, somebody's hair, or, oh my God, did you see that? And, oh my God, she's now going out with him. No.
Oh my God, Luke Perry this.
Oh gosh, that's it, and that other lad, whatever his name is. So that was it. Like that was the deepness of it. So there was never an expectation that it, like you said, that you would be, uncovering the secrets of the universe. It was simply, what kind of belt buckle did Luke Perry have on this time round? Like,
Yeah, what's the costume? Who's sleeping with her?
That's right. How did her hairstyle look? Oh my gosh, she's just sporting a bun today.
And understanding that as well, like obviously when I was younger, I didn't see it for what it was. I didn't see that it was just family time. As I got a little bit older, I realized, okay, like it's just here. This time is just this. There wasn't trying to, okay, I need to, now is the time to ask about this question and that question. Like, no, this is not that time. This is purely for this. And then there'd be other times with different people where I could ask those questions.
And I think that sets us up so that we don't get as disappointed because we know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like if we keep expecting people to give us what they're unable to give, then we are the ones that continue to get disappointed, and then we get angry with the other person because they're not able to give us what we need.
True.
And show up in that way, rather than us accepting that that's how it is. And then when we accept that that's how it is, then we can make a decision about, am I okay to have this conversation with this person at this level?
Yeah.
And that's okay. Or this person is never going to be able to have deep conversations with me. That's okay. We're just going to forever talk about Luke Perry's belt buckles and, what's happening on Sunrise this morning. Oh my gosh, you should have seen Sunrise because so-and-so did Sunrise. Right. Yep, okay. And that's okay, having that understanding. But we get ourselves into a world of hurt because we're expecting something from somebody else that they're just not capable of giving us.
Yeah.
And we just keep hitting our head up against a brick wall.
Yeah, and expecting it to not hurt when it's been shown to us time and time again that this person, or whoever it is, just doesn't have the capacity to have that conversation at that level, or just doesn't want to, plain period. Which is fine, and we either need to come to terms with that and see it for what it is, or go in search of something else where that fills your cup up in that area.
And so for you, there's probably somewhere yourself where you might be continually wanting something that's just not being given to you in the way in which you want it. And so my suggestion to you is to start, just like take the pressure off and go, you know what, they're just not going to. You may need to go and get that somewhere else.
True.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You may need to find a group of people, a circle of people, a new friend, a mentor, join a program. You may need to do something completely different to get you the outcome that you want, rather than what it is from the person who is unable to give it to you.
Yeah.
That's it, how it is. I absolutely have that. I've got to go. Hope to chat again soon. Really liked it. Excellent. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you being here. Love your comments as well. So be safe.
Okay.
Having that understanding that if you can't get it from who it is that you want, go and get it somewhere else.
And having no judgment around that either. Like if it's okay to go and source something different from someone else. If like it's when, and I think a great example is that when kids want something, if dad says no, what will they do? They will try and source a yes from mum. So they will go and they will ask mum. Majority of the time, mum will say yes. So I think we inherently do that as humans. Like we need to continue to source new information so that we grow. not staying stagnant, which is what humans can fall into sometimes, where we're just
That's exactly right. And then what happens if mum and dad says no?
you got to know. You
Just get
keep
going.
trying to find that source of what you're looking for. And I think that because when we get to adulthood, where we're stuck into the, okay, well, this is the only way, like, you know, this way or the highway. It's like, well, there are so many different options. We're brain fed all this stuff where it has to be this. You have to go and work a solid 9 to 5 job, or you have to do this. Well, no, if it's not working for you, then go and find it from somewhere else. Stop trying to beat your head up against a brick wall and then be like, oh my God, my head hurts. Why?
That's right. And that's where it comes back, really. That's a great lead into the coming back to how does it feeling, and even in terms of your languaging. So one of the recordings that I was listening to today was around the languaging, how we language have to. Wouldn't it be a lot more gentle if we use language around get to? So I get to do this as opposed to I have to.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point in time, you actually don't have to do anything.
This is true.
You get to. And if you choose not to, then there are ramifications of that, obviously, but you still have a get to. So it softens it ever so slightly, and it brings you back into control rather than going, I have to.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like the world is on your shoulders, and it's like, I feel like I'm 5 and they're making me eat my broccoli or my Brussels sprouts or whatever, as opposed to going, I get to. And how exciting is that? Or it might be like, I get to go to work today. Why? Because come Thursday, whoosh, whoosh, ding, ding, money goes in my account. So I get to go to work today because I get to spend the money on Thursday.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's just that ever so slight language shift, because you can still continue to say have to. It's not going to make you feel any better, as opposed to I get to gives you some power and control back about what it is. And if you absolutely dislike what it is that you do something else.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like completely change it. And so the other thing that around that languaging is should. Stop shoulding all over yourself. I really should do this. The thing about should is that you don't want to do it because otherwise you'd have done it.
Yeah.
Like you say, I really should do that. I really should go to the gym. Well, you know you're not going, because if you wanted to, you'd be like, I'm going to the gym.
It's okay, pre-work, I'm ready to go.
Like I'd have been scratching my face, I'm good to go. But when we should, it's a judgment of ourselves that we haven't done the thing that we think that we're supposed to do, that somebody else out there has said that we need to do. And we're going, I don't even want to do it, but I will judge myself and put that on myself and make me wrong for not doing it, as opposed to going, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I get to do this, great. Feels good. Doesn't feel good. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And that's been me so many times. Like, let's take me for example. I used to work in the public service here in Canberra, and sitting behind a desk, really, I hated it. There was nothing worse than it's bringing giving me PTSD kind of stuff. Like I just hate it. Where one day I just said, no, I'm not going back, and I never did.
Yeah. And
it was so empowering, because I have to go to work. I have to go and do this. And so many people were telling me, this is what you have to do. And then when I made the decision, I'm like, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm going to pursue something that I want to pursue. And it was, I am going to do this. And I felt so much better, because regardless of how I felt, regardless if I was going to win, lose, succeed, or fail at this next venture, at that time, it was all on me. And I moved away out of the city, I think almost the next day, or maybe day after that. Didn't tell anyone, I think you and Dad were it, and I don't think I told you guys that I'd quit. I just said, yeah, I'm going. But again, it was coming back to that language that I use, that I am doing this. I'm doing it for me, no one else. And those relationships that I had here as well, like they were kind of severed a little bit because of the actions that I made. But I was also able to stand in my own light. It was like, regardless of the relationships and how they turn out, I'm still doing this for me because that's what I need to do.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And how empowering for you to make those decisions, because your soul is happy or your soul is dying. I mean, that's pretty much how it is for you. You're either doing something that lights your soul up, or you're doing something that sucks the life out of your soul. I mean, you get to choose. I know what I choose every day, because I'm exactly the same. I got fired from more jobs, and like that whole prison cubicle cell, like it was just, you could literally, you walk in and you could just feel the energy being sucked out of everybody. Like it was just,
for all my Harry Potter fans out there, it was like a dementor was sucking the soul out of me. It
was horrendous.
Yeah, like.
And then making that decision to go, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And it's almost like as soon as you make that decision, you think that, oh my gosh, that door is closed and what am I going to do? What actually happens is, oh my God, that door is closed and then another one will open, or a window will open, or you'll go, oh my God, I've got this great idea, or whatever. Something always happens, but you can't have a foot in each camp to go, this is sucking the life out of my soul, but I'm still going to come here every day waiting for that great thing to fall into my lap. It doesn't work that way. Now, I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow and lay around and do nothing, because if you quit your job, then you need to go and do something that makes your soul happy. And you can have a plan about doing that sort of thing. And thinking about for yourself, if it's something that makes you unhappy, why are you continuing to do it?
Yeah, or why are you not putting steps in place to get you to a place where, hey, I can leave where I'm at right now and step into something that was my side hustle for a long time, that brings me so much joy, then that can be my full-time passion. Like I was the same thing when I moved away. It was, I was boxing at the time, little bits here and there, and then I made the commitment to move away, and that was my full-time thing, training 3 times a day sometimes. And it was brilliant because I was able to step into something that filled my cup up, and then bringing it back around, like, when my cup is full and I'm able to make a solid ripple effect in that water, the next generation behind me are able to then step up and say, "Whoa, man, like that's something that I can vibe with." Whether they do come and kick it, chill with me, or it's like awesome. If they don't find someone else, that's awesome too. Like, but just having those different people step up and say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep leveling up, and if you want to come along for a ride, awesome. If not, that's awesome too."
Yeah, absolutely. I have a friend, and she's a business coach, and she talks about her thing. The thing that she does is that she helps mainly women, but she does work with men, but it's mainly women, to start their side hustle on the side, because her thing is that she knows that not everybody is cut out for full-time entrepreneurship.
It's hard work.
But some people are cut out for part-time. So she helps people to be able to stay in their job that they enjoy, but also have a side hustle on the side, so that if at any point in time they want to transition across, they're actually not starting green. And that's her thing. And she's so successful at it because she knows not everybody wants to jump and go, I'm doing this 100%. When they do decide, and some do, some don't. But she's like, okay, like, I'm here to help you. And it's that same thing. If that's not your jam, then don't do it. If that's your thing, then go do the thing. But don't make yourself wrong for how it is that you do it, because you can have both. You can have. You don't have to be like, oh, I need to decide, and I've got to. And yes, you might have a family to feed, and yes, you might have to pay rent and stuff like that. Get creative about the fact, well, how can I do that? What does that look like? What is my passion? The amount of, and I say it all the time, the amount of head wraps and earrings and stuff that I support women on the socials who are selling stuff, because I want them to get to a point where if they choose to go into that full time, then they know that that's possible for them. And for some of them, it is going to be a part-time hustle forever, and that's okay as well.
So good.
Yep. You know, again, there's no judgment around that. It's simply I'll do my part by paying, you know, $20 or $30 for something that's going to help them to be able to go, well, wow, this is successful, and I'll have a go at it.
Yeah.
As opposed to going, oh my God, I have to go to work tomorrow and I hate it and I'm so stressed out and the boss wants this for me and this over here and she's bitchy and why would you do it?
And I think that also like it takes a lot of courage to step out into that. Like even if you do have that 9 to 5 and you're taking that step out to start a side hustle, still doing it anyway, regardless of what others say. Like, oh man, you have such an awesome job. Like, why are you trying to do that? Like, why don't you just focus all your energy into this mainstream and then try to level up into the next level? It's like, well, maybe I don't want that. Or man, like just stay where you're at. Like it's awesome. Or just pick one or the other. It's like, well, but why though? You know, and then being okay to be like, because I want to do this. Like this is what I want. And understanding that, hey, like that, maybe they're presenting on to you what they're too afraid of stepping into. Maybe they have a brilliant idea for a side hustle, but yet they just, for whatever reason, just don't want to take that leap. Maybe they're too scared. Maybe they don't have the capital, all this other stuff, and they're putting that on you. Like just stay where you are, because if you step out and you make it, that could shine a light on me, and it could be like, hey, I missed my shot, my opportunity. Not knowing that, you know, if you were to step out, you could bring them along, or you could lead a path, make a path in the sand for others to follow.
That's right, absolutely. And most people, you know, Colonel Sanders was like 60 when he started the thing, although I reckon that when he stole that, because that was fried chicken. You cannot tell me.
No white person knows how to fry chicken.
Not fried chicken like that from the South. I mean, really? Come on now. Walt Disney was like 65 or something when he came up with the idea for Disneyland. So you're not too old.
Yeah.
Like you can take the opportunity if it shows up, or not. I mean, it's up to you. But don't think, oh my gosh, you know, the ship sailed. I'm too old. You know, the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, sure you can. Unless the dog's dead, you can teach it a trick. It might not want to do a trick, but you can still teach it.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why you can't.
Yeah.
It's just that whole. Taken the opportunity to go, I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to see how it goes. Like and if it works, fantastic.
Brilliant.
If it doesn't, fantastic.
Yeah. And I think that what most people don't understand is that if you step out and everything fails, like, you know, just picture the worst possible outcome of that happening. Next time when you start again, you're not starting from zero. You're starting with the knowledge of, okay, that didn't work this time, so this is something that I can do different next time. And then again, same thing. If it fails, you're now starting the third thing with 2 lessons. So you're never really starting again, because you've gained knowledge, you've gained experience, you've gained wisdom, so you can use that in your next venture.
That's right. And are we sideways?
Yeah, people can do that. People can tell.
Okay, so hello, who is it? Oh, we're getting lots of hearts.
Yeah.
I love hearts.
Let's go. Awesome.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so there's no experience that's wasted.
Yeah,
the only experience that's wasted is the one that you don't get the gold from.
True.
There's lots of possibilities for you to go, wow, that failed miserably. Got some gold out of that. And most of us have experiences where things have gone incredibly south.
Definitely.
And I've had some harebrained screams. Oh my Lord, like I could just tell you. And you just go, well, I've learned some stuff from that. It's going to be helpful this time round, or the next time round, or the next time round. so that I can then use that to go, so that is so clear.
Yeah, right.
This is not. Anyways. So there's opportunities all the time for you to use your experiences.
Yeah.
The only time that an experience is wasted is when you don't get what it is that you can get from it.
Yeah.
And that requires you to be present in the moment and go, so what did I get out of that? Gosh, I learned that this doesn't work. I learned I need to be prepared more here. I need to do my research there.
Yep.
I need to do this thing and that thing and that thing. I need to not do that thing and that thing and that thing. Excellent. How great is that? So then you go on to that next thing with that little bit more ammunition about, okay, what's past and how do I then use that in this thing moving forward? Boom. Okay, this is going to be way more successful. Oh my God, we're getting lots of love.
There we go. Stay focused.
I love the love hearts.
And also, I think, like, in saying that, I think that we can, just with that small part, you can see why the divide would be for people who are taking that leap, because it's like, boom, you take a leap, then awesome, gain all experience because you failed. Boom, let's step into something else. Boom, that fails, but you gain all experience. And so while you're continuously moving forward, people who aren't over here taking that leap with you, they can see, like, man, like, why do you keep doing this? Like, what do you get out of it? Just stay with us here where you're fine, you're protected. Like, we got you. That whole tribe mentality. Like, you can see how sometimes that rift and divide gets bigger because some people just aren't taking that leap with you. Whereas, you know, like we said, we've come up with some of these stupidest harebrained schemes, but, you know, like one of my mentors said, like, shoot is shoot. You know, so when you continue to shoot, sometimes you get hot, sometimes you go on a cold streak. But for those people who don't shoot, you're like, man, why you shoot shot over here? Don't do that. Just pass the ball to someone else who can shoot. Whereas because they're too afraid of, they might get on a cold streak. But it could be they may be too afraid that if they start shooting, they could get really hot. They could, like, I'm using basketball terminology because I grew up with basketball my whole life, but they could make a solid run of it. And I think that fear scares people, but I also think that success scares people just as much. Because, you know, like, you know, I see so many people who are successful, and I'm just like, man, I don't know if I could do that when I was younger, but now it's like, man, I don't know if I could do that, but let's have at it. Let's give it a red hot go. Like, and knowing that if I fail, that's so cool. Like, when I heard somewhere that it's like this parent was asking his child, like his children, what did you fail at today? And it's like, and just switching that whole idea of failure, where it's like, I tried this today and I was horrendous at it. It's like, awesome. Do you want to have another go at it? Yep, cool. Take it. If you don't, that's cool too. At least you tried it and knew that it wasn't for you. At least you shot the ball. You could airball it, man. And then just being okay with the fact that, hey, I airballed it, but I'm going to give it another go. Give it another go. Give it another go. And if, again, you can see why that when you're moving and you're shooting the ball so much, you're moving that needle just that 1 inch further. For those people who don't shoot, they're left over here and they can't understand and can't see the vision of why you're doing this, why you continue to push that needle and shoot that ball when you've missed 30, 40 in a row. But yet, all you have to do is make that game winner one time, and then it makes up for everything.
That's right. Absolutely. I remember a story. I love that. That's so good. What did you fail at today? And just before I go on to my story, how many of us don't want to try something new because we don't want to fail, because we tell ourselves a story about who we are if we fail, as opposed to switching it to go, wow, I failed at that today. And oh my gosh, look what I learned. And I did this and I, made a fool of myself and I tried to do the dance thing and fell over. Or, if you want to see some horrendousness, you should see the video that I put up about the bear crawls I did.
You should go back to like the very first videos that like we ever did.
I'm sure they were brilliant.
Oh, I do not think so. Definitely do not think so.
You know, like I'm sure we were stumbling over words and stuff. We were having a great time. I'd have been funny. Let's be real. I'd have still been funny, regardless whether it's first one, 51. I'm going to be funny. So let's just make that very clear.
Yeah.
But it's very much about that whole having the ability to be able to go, oh, I tried that and it didn't work, and not make it mean that I suck as a human because I failed at it. So the story that we're telling ourselves that says, oh my gosh, I failed at that, and where is the gold? I mean, you can go into the whole, there's no failure, there's only feedback. I mean, if you're getting wrapped up in that, having a look at what did I learn in terms of an experience today that I didn't have yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, so again, the languaging around that is really great. But having to think about for yourself, what is the story that you tell yourself about how supportive it is for you to be able to make a mistake? Because if you grew up in a space where you couldn't make a mistake, then as an adult, you're not going to be in a place where you can go, you know what? I'm going to give it a red hot go. You're going to be like, I'm so afraid. If you grew up in a home where you needed to stand out, or you needed to bring home straight A's, or you needed to be the best at the sport or whatever, then trying something that you're not so good at is going to be a challenge for you, simply because you didn't grow up in an environment where it's like, you know, around the dinner table, Dad said, what did you fail at today? I know very few tables where you sit around and people go, so where did you fail at today? What have you failed at? Oh my God, what did you try? That's fantastic. Try it again. You know, as well as the amount of tables that you sit around where people, parents are supportive to help their kids to realize that they can achieve anything they want if they just have a go.
True.
You know, that's, again, no shame or shade on our parents. It was just a different generation and a different parenting style.
Definitely. To
then go, you know, oh my God, we're going to support and stuff. I mean, I see some pregnant women on Facebook and stuff, and they're obviously pregnant, and they're all about conscious parenting, and now it's, you know, the star seeds, like all kinds of. That was not a thing when I was pregnant. Let me tell you right now, it was like I didn't see a midwife once.
Nothing of the sort.
That's it. You know, that whole, so it was a completely different time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they're playing Mozart to the baby and all that sort of stuff, which is fantastic now, being aware of that. So again, for you, starting to think about that as well. What's the narrative that you're telling yourself about what you can do? What can you try? Are you going to give it a go? What happens if you try something and it doesn't work? Like all that sort of stuff. And be okay with the fact that, you know what, that was a big kerfuffle.
And then understanding, like, hey, I can come back again, and not being, man, I'm messed up, and that just being the end of it. Like, no, I can come back stronger. I can do whatever I want.
So, does anybody have any questions? Because we're over time. We are keeping it
for an hour.
For an hour, because we have done in the past 2 hours. We appreciate you.
We're not doing that tonight.
We're not doing that anymore because we know that you have families and a life and need to do stuff. So, does anybody have any questions, any comments anywhere?
Questions, comments, queries, doubtful points. Today's episode was kind of went on a whole. I think we covered up on so many different things tonight.
We did. We were just like push.
We covered so many different things where it's not always like a set topic, and we tried to have a set topic in mind, but it really wasn't like that. So
we always have a topic and go wherever we follow where the energy leads us. We follow, and what I know is that the things that we covered is that somebody on here needed to hear.
Yeah.
So the trusting that I always have is that everything that we bring up, and you know, obviously somebody needed to hear about Colonel Sanders stealing that chicken thing, because otherwise we wouldn't bring it up.
True. So
we're trusting. We were a little bit covering lots of topics because people need to get lots of different things from this conversation, and that's okay as well.
Apparently.
So,
I'm ending the live. No one's on, but so.
Okay.
Cool. Yep. Do we have any comments from?
No. So we're gonna wrap it up.
We are.
Have a incredibly safe.
Yeah. Make sure everyone's safe.
Yeah.
The three that are here.
Yeah.
And on Facebook too. Like, just make sure everyone's been safe.
Yeah.
Double demerit points too.
That's it. So drive slow.
Yeah.
Because ain't nobody wanting to be getting the bus next week because you've
definitely.
lost your license driving real fast.
True.
So take it easy, take care, stay safe, be amazing. We will talk mess next.